Perhaps you recall this hymn. It's not one of the few we're familiar with, but listen to the lyrics if you would. They go like this. Amid the thronging worshipers, Jehovah will I bless. Before my brethren gathered here, his name I will confess. Come praise him, all ye that fear the Lord, ye children of his grace. With reverent sound his glories forth, and bow before his face. That song takes the glorious words at the end of Psalm 22 and makes them the rousing chorus of praise and thankfulness. But it totally ignores the first 2/3 of the song, which alternate between tragedy and thankfulness. When we read the whole psalm, the words bring to mind pictures of Jesus on the cross. My God, why have you forsaken me? Those images just keep coming. I am scorned by man and despised by all people, we read. And in verses 7 and 8, all those who see me mock me. They hurl insults, shaking their heads. He trusts in the Lord. Let the Lord rescue him. Verse 14 says in Psalm 22, I'm poured out like water. All my joints are out of joint. You can see Jesus hanging on the cross with those nails tearing into his flesh and his shoulders being pulled out of their sockets. You can hear verse 15, my tongue sticks to the roof of my mouth. Of the few things that Jesus said on the cross, one of the most horrible was, I thirst. When the soldiers argued over who would take Jesus' clothes home with him, the gospel writers of Psalm 22:18 wrote, they divide my garments among them and cast lots for my clothing. That's the scary part. That's the awful part of the first 2/3 of the 22nd Psalm. The Psalm of pain and tragedy. But it is a psalm that ends with thanksgiving. After a lot of suffering has taken place in our own lives, just like in the words of the song, we want to sing songs of thankfulness. We're in the mood for it, even though we seldom may do it. We don't want to sing the first 21 verses of Psalm 22 in times of prosperity when things are going our way. It might take time to sing those verses and they wouldn't taste too well. But in the bad times, we all know that ringing cry of David, of Jesus, my God, why have you forsaken me? That's often the way it is. It's one way or the other. The good or the bad. The wails of verses 1 through 21 are the laughter of the rest of it. We have a hard time keeping Psalm 22 together. Barbara Jurgensen wrote a little book that she entitled, The Lord is My Shepherd, But. And this is her prayer for Thanksgiving Day. God, she says, I realize the reason I have things so good is not that I'm better than other people. I have a good education and good health and a loving family, and I live in a free country. But I know that I don't have these things because I'm so worthy compared to other people in the world. She goes on to pray, take the refugees. They have no real homes, not much to live on. Of course, they may not have worked as hard as I or as hard as my father worked. If those refugees had something like our family's hardware business, they would have picked up and left it. They wouldn't have picked up and left it and gone off looking for some other place to live. You know, if a person works really hard and uses his head, he can usually come out pretty well. Our area has never been hit by hurricanes, she prays, or floods or earthquakes or anything. But again, it shows how wise my grandfather was to pick this town to set up his business. I mean, if other people's ancestors chose countries that have not become as prosperous or as free as ours, or if they never got out of the old country, well, whose fault is that but their own? And then, too, I know we really can't say you're on our side. That would be too presumptuous. But doesn't it make some difference that this is a Christian country? Don't you make the sun shine a little brighter here and the rain fall a little more regularly here? Haven't we earned the right to some extra blessings? So I thank you, she concludes by saying, I thank you, God, that I have so much. I feel sorry for those around the world who have less. But that's life, isn't it? Now I know she's being facetious. But aren't those thoughts sometimes the ones that go through our minds? That only those who have successes and stuff can be truly thankful. Only those who have achievements, health, those are the ones. Those are the ones who can be thankful. When we look at Psalm 22 in the beginning, we begin to understand this truth the other way. That only those who are thankful to God in all circumstances are the ones who truly believe. Maybe that's the theme of Psalm 22. Maybe that's what really holds the two sections of the psalm together. Maybe it's not that believers are grateful to God for obvious blessings, but that those who are grateful to God, no matter what, who are grateful for who He is, are the ones who truly believe. As we sit around our tables this Thanksgiving, there will be some who are celebrating perhaps their last Thanksgiving. And some of us will pass on, maybe even tragically, before the next year is through. Some of us will find out that we have cancer, and some of us may experience financial difficulty, and some of us may lose spouses, and some of us may be betrayed by our friends. And it's then that we'll need the first 2/3 of Psalm 22. Thankfulness and faith go hand in hand. According to what David says, my faith in God is not just polite thanks for goodies and trinkets that He's given to me. It's actually the other way around. To Him, my thankfulness is the cornerstone of my faith. I'm not thankful just because He's given me things, says David. I believe in Him because it's right to give Him thanks even when I can't point to anything specific, even when the chips are down, even when I'm surrounded by those troubles I speak of in those first 21 verses. Think, for instance, of the testimony of Job. I mean, that's what the book of Job is all about. Satan says to God, look, Job serves you because you give him all the toys to play with. Toys first, thankfulness later. You know, if you take all those toys away from him, he won't thank you anymore. He'll curse you. So what happens? God allows those things to take place, for all the toys to be snatched away, and then comes the surprising ending because Job loses everything. All the toys, all of those good things, all of that prosperity and stability of life. Disease and disaster wipe him out. Sores cling to his body. The maggots eat his flesh. When all is done, when all is gone, Job cries out to God with a prayer like that of David and Jesus. My God, why have you forsaken me? But then he goes on.